Welcome back to Mystical Heart Tarot Readings. This is your message from Spirit. It is a general reading for the collective, so it may or it may not resonate. Take what resonates, leave what does not. All right, what do we have here? We have what appears to be some sort of disturbance in some aspect of life here, where you may have to take a step back and reflect on it. Why? Because you've lost control in that aspect. You've lost control. You might even be doubting yourself in that part of your life. But see, the king comes in and says, that's okay. I make sure everything is all good. Because the King of Pentacles is the wise one that's committed to maintaining a well-balanced life. But I feel like there is problems. Maybe surrounding friends, maybe surrounding family. Because there ends up being a conflict. Now, is the king going to step into this conflict? Probably not. The king wants everything to be as it should be, but it's not. The king would prefer things to be like they should. The king's committed to maintaining balance throughout. Whereas here, there ends up being some sort of conflict in some part of your life. The aspect of your life that has the conflict that you're taking a step back from, that you need to reflect on is a conflict with somebody, either friend or family, to the point where you feel bad about it. You feel emotionally drained, you feel emotionally down about it. It could be a younger person you've had a conflict with, perhaps a child in the home. Maybe that child is proving to be challenging. This could be a younger sibling, or it could be a younger friend that you're having this conflict with. This conflict does create a change. It creates an emotional change. The king doesn't like that. The king would prefer that things are well balanced, and they're not well balanced. As proven right here, there's a loss of control. Loss of control. Maybe some self-doubt. Maybe you're doubting yourself. We don't have communication on the board, but perhaps there were words spoken that maybe you are thinking now, maybe I shouldn't have said that. And that's why the head is down, because you feel bad. Let's see what's going on that we don't see. What is it we don't see? This is all out in the open for people to see. What is it that we're not seeing? That's not out in the open that others don't know about? Anxiety. There it is. Anxiety over words that were spoken. Right here. These words that were spoken, you might be overthinking them. You might feel like a prisoner in your own mind with those words. And it may not have been things you said, it may have been things that the other person said. What else don't we see? Maybe it was a truth that was spoken. Maybe somebody said something that was very personal. Sometimes people don't like hearing the truth. A lot of times people don't like hearing the truth. We see that all the time. People go into other people's chats. They don't like hearing the truth. The creator doesn't want to hear the truth, so you get blocked. So this created a change, the change being somebody walking away. And this was somebody that was valued. So this is most likely a family member. This was most likely a family member that walked away. Now, there could be, no, this is a conflict. So So there was a conflict. We have a conflict here. This could be self-doubt. This could be about self-doubt, doubting oneself for speaking the truth. Now you're dealing with anxiety because you've spoken the truth to somebody that you care about, emotionally care about. I don't have wands on the board, so I don't see love, but I do see emotions. So this is somebody you're emotionally connected to. Maybe a close friend, somebody younger. It could be a younger sibling, a younger family member, such as a cousin, or just a younger friend that you were just really close to. And so the king doesn't like the conflict. The king doesn't like the fact that someone in his family, someone he values, has had to take a step back from somebody else over a conflict. Here's the conflict, the anxiety left over from it. And what was the conflict? Perhaps something was said one way or the other, one person to the other, either direction, a truth that the other person did not like to hear. And the change that resulted from that person, I feel, walked away, is that somebody lost a person of value, somebody that they valued. Somebody has spoken a truth to another person that created a conflict, and now there's regrets over the conflict because that created a change, the change being that the person walked away. They valued that person highly, and they shouldn't, even though what they said they spoke a truth. They still regret it. Like I said, some people, a lot of times, it's more often than not, it's going to be the young person may have heard a truth that they didn't like to hear. But it could have been the other way around. Usually younger people don't like to hear the truth, but that's not always the case. Not always the case. Sometimes older people don't want to hear truth that's being told to them. So what can we do about it? We'll let the moon cards tell us. Wow. Communication is key. New moon in Gemini. So on a new moon, whoever had this conflict, they need to communicate to two people. If this is two people, it might be more than two people, but if this is just two people, we'll say they need to communicate, because communication is key. Communication, I've said this many times, communication is key in relationships, whether it be friendships or romantic relationships or in families. Communication is key. So on a new moon, set your intentions that you want to overcome this conflict because you've lost somebody of value, somebody that you really truly cared about. The king is committed to everybody and is not liking the fact that there was a loss of control and something personal was spoken that caused this conflict. So perhaps communication needs to take place, probably around the new moon. Gemini, new moon in Gemini. How does Gemini reflect on this? Remember, Gemini's the twins. And when it comes to Gemini, they have two sides, or they can have two sides. So perhaps one of the people that involved in this conflict is a Gemini. Perhaps. And maybe they just need time to chill out and then plant the seed of you want to communicate, you'd like to talk it over about what was said. And the other side of Gemini will say, okay, now let's talk. But communication is the key. Always remember that. Communication is the key. I send much love and many blessings to everybody. As always, I'll see you back next time. Have a wonderful day.